So truthfully, the way to get hotter is to be more confident. Hello, my name is Catherine and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be discussing how I personally got hotter, how I went from this to this. And in the past few years or so, my friends have told me that I have definitely improved my looks, especially recently, literally in the past few weeks. A lot of my friends have told me that I'm looking more healthy, that I'm glowing, that my skin looks better. And so I decided to memorialize this time in my life by creating a video on all of the things that I do to personally get hotter and also to be more confident, because I think they are definitely related. If you are more confident, you're inherently hotter. If you're inherently hotter, you will get more confident. So these are 10 ways that I improve my look and myself internally to be more hot and thus more confident. So I'm going to start with kind of the low-hanging fruit. So first of all, I think that one of the best things that you can do to improve your confidence is to get all dolled up every day and start taking photos of yourself. Truly, when I was in a more anxious time in my life last year, I made a goal that I was going to take a really good selfie that I was happy with once a day for 30 days. And by around day 20, I genuinely think it started to make a difference, because on the first few days, I realized that I definitely wasn't happy with myself because I wouldn't enjoy taking photos. I wouldn't like being perceived and I wouldn't like how I was looking. But ultimately, I realized by day 20 that I started to have different ways that I could make the selfies better. And I really got to take a good look at myself and understand what I liked about different makeup looks, what I liked about different lightings, different outfits, different colors on myself. And I think knowing these things about myself and being able to really work on them genuinely helped with making myself feel better and also helped me look hotter. So I think this concretely included things like wearing under eyeliner on my waterline, because I think it helps to kind of emphasize my eyes, especially because I have lighter brown eyes and lighter brows, to just sort of emphasize that as a feature. I also really emphasize sticking to my natural hair color. I used to have blonde hair for a little bit. I even had pink hair. And I think sticking to my natural hair and also styling it with S-type waves like this photo genuinely helps me to feel more confident in myself, because I just realized that these were things that I liked about my features. I also think having core pieces of jewelry are good ways to improve the selfies that you take, because it just helps you feel better about yourself, look more put together. And then also doing nails. So I always have my nails done and I always have 3 bracelets on typically, and then my Aura ring, and then I stack it with this. So I think all of these things really helped me be more physically confident. So that's kind of the initial low-hanging fruit on how to be more confident overall while taking photos and just bettering that physical part and that physical confidence. I think also having soft hair really helps me build confidence. So always consistently using conditioner. A fun fact about me is I actually did not start using conditioner until about 2 years ago, when I used this Hotels conditioner, and it really did genuinely make my hair softer, which I know seems obvious, but it genuinely did help to build my confidence. So having really soft hair I think can help too, and styling it every day before you go to bed, even if you don't have an event. I think that just helps you feel more awake and alert, and just know that you are anticipating good things. You are welcoming having the energy in your life that you would need to go to something that's worth dressing up for. Tip number 2, I think you should do one thing a day that genuinely moves the needle on your life. So I know that this seems like a big endeavor, but one of my good founder friends once told me that every day she wakes up and she just makes a list of one thing that she could do that would move the needle with her business. And so similarly, even if you are not a founder, you can just think of one thing that would move the needle in your life professionally. And I think that this will always help you feel personally better about the work that you're doing every day, and just to know that you are working towards your goals. So for instance, right now, I'm obviously trying to build out this YouTube channel. So even just creating one solid YouTube video every weekday for 30 days is something that I know will help me build towards my professional goals. And it's something that I can do every day to move the needle towards something that I want in my future. Number 3, working out consistently. So to me, this used to mean that I would just work out maybe 3 or 4 times a week. And that was enough to see some improvements. But I realized that I actually sleep better and I feel better throughout the day when I'm consistently working out every single day. So now on days that I don't work out, I worry that my sleep is not going to be as good and that I may not be as happy during the day. And that really genuinely motivates me to go to the gym consistently. So for about a year now, I've actually been going 6 days a week. Sometimes I'll go every single day that week. Even if the workout is just something as small as an incline walk at 12:3:30 on the treadmill, it really helps to feel like I have an extra pep in my step and to know that I will have good sleep that night night and that my body is working to its maximum potential. And when I'm especially consistent with it, I usually get a lot of my friends telling me that I'm looking really thin these days and looking really healthy, and my face looks healthier and leaner, and I don't have so-called cortisol face. And so now what I do is 3 days a week of Pilates and 3 days a week of lifting and 1 day of cardio where I'll run anywhere from 1 to 2 miles or just do an incline walk that day. And occasionally I will skip a day if I'm feeling really tired, but like I said, on those days I just don't feel like I checked everything off my list that I should have. So working out every day and having that mindset towards this will improve my sleep and my overall happiness and health is really something that helps to push me towards a better version of myself, and thus a more confident version of myself. Because I think when you set out goals and intentions for yourself, like you book that Pilates class the night before and then you actually end up doing it, you build trust with yourself, which thus builds confidence with yourself that you can do hard things and accomplish the things that you set out to do. Another small habit that you can have every day in order to work towards being more confident is to have a 5-minute gratitude journal. So inside of this gratitude journal, in the morning, there are prompts like I am grateful for, what would make today great, and then a positive affirmation. And then at night, you say 3 good things that happened that day and what I learned that day. So it really teaches you to be gratuitous in your life and also just look back on the day and see that it was a productive day. If you think about the things that you learned and the things that you did and the things that you're happy about, you can look back and feel accomplished on even a simple day. So for instance, on one of the days last week, I wrote learning, meeting new people, a good dinner with people that are also Christian because I'm Christian, and feeling like I'm generally surrounding myself with good vibes. So they're really simple things to be grateful for, but it really does help me believe that I am leading the life that I want to lead. And overall, it helps me build confidence. Another confidence tip that I have is coming up with business ideas. Even if you do not intend on being an entrepreneur, I think something that actually neuroscientifically challenges the depression, anxiety side of your brain is curiosity. And when you're thinking about business ideas, you are thinking about the problems that you could solve in the world and overall being curious. So I really think that taking even 8 minutes every day to create a mind map of all the different ideas that you have, areas of interest, and business ideas on how you think you can improve the world, and seeing the vision that you want to see in the world, thinking of others, it can help to stimulate that curious side of your brain, which can help to combat any anxious and depressed side of your brain. Next is reading. I know that this might seem totally obvious because everyone encourages folks to read, and obviously the benefits of that are so clear. But truly, I think that knowledge is power. And when I spend even just 10 minutes reading, I feel so much better about myself because I feel more informed about the world. I feel like I'm pushing myself to really learn what is outside of just me. And it changes my perspective to remember that not everything in this world is about me and my problems are not so small because there is so much else out there to learn about and read about. So at all times, I have a big stack of books in my purse, in my bedroom, in my living room. I have all of these books currently, a mix of startup books, fiction books, some skills that I want to learn. And I just buy books because I feel like if I spend the money to buy them, I feel guilty enough that I must finish the book. And that way I can also context switch between books so that I don't get necessarily bored of any one book at a time. And even if I'm just reading 10 pages of one book, then 10 pages of another, and I get up and continue my day, I feel like I took the time to enrich myself because I care about myself, and that helps to improve my confidence. And I remember that there is more than just me. Along the same vein, I think one thing that builds confidence is doing things alone, especially traveling alone. And this doesn't necessarily have to be a huge, long journey, but even if it's just something like going to the park or taking yourself for a swim or going for a walk alone, doing things on my own makes me remember that I myself and only myself can do things to bring myself a lot of joy. And I can just be in charge of my life and take advantage of the resources at my disposal and really push towards the life that I want. And I can just do them with simple tasks and in just a few hours in order to seek out the joy and the change that I want to be in the world. So in general, when I take a few hours to do things alone, that helps me feel really confident. Another thing that helps me feel really confident is actually writing essays on values that I hold strongly. So even if it feels like a somewhat simple value and one that might be ubiquitous, I still take the time to really reflect on why I hold that value so strongly and what are all of the pieces of media that I've consumed that have led me to believe that I hold this value. And writing a comprehensive essay where I can really think through why I hold this value so strongly and think about all the things that help shape me, make me feel more self-aware, and that overall helps me build my own self-esteem because I feel like I know what makes me and what motivates me. And I think knowing yourself really well helps you recognize and see yourself in a good light, and you feel like you can have empathy for your own actions and sympathy for yourself when you're feeling feeling down. And in these moments, I think that's when true confidence forms. And then lastly, I think that you should always accept good behavior from others. Of course, this seems obvious, but I think sometimes I've noticed that I am very protective of my own self-esteem and the respect that I let into my life. So if I take any disrespect, then I actually get extremely sensitive and sometimes reactionary. And I think that being too reactionary has contributed negatively to my self-esteem. So another big part of making sure that you are always accepting respect is when you accept disrespect, to know how to pick your battles and to know when to and when to not react to those things. I think being stoic and being able to distance yourself from the outcome of certain situations is something that can really help build self-esteem and confidence, because you know that little things won't affect you and you can stand strong and stand on business in whatever you are looking to do. And when you reduce your levels of sensitivity, you can be really stoic and take a step back and see yourself as just a piece that's moving in this world and not something that is essentially having a victim mentality. So now I've taken on the thought that if it won't affect me in 5 years, I won't give it more than 5 minutes, but I still do try to stand on business and communicate whenever I am feeling like I'm taking a little bit of disrespect, but I try to let things go as often as I can. But at the same time, it is important to remember that when you accept bad treatment, it lets yourself know subconsciously that you deserve that bad treatment, and then you will accept more bad treatment. So it's good to cut that cycle when you can and call it out and try to reduce negative energy in your life, but also be sure to be chill when you receive negative energy that you can easily cut out. So yeah, I think to me, confidence is really important to have, and it's probably the lead indicator that I use to make decisions. If it makes me feel less or more confident, that's how I engage in my professional settings, in social settings, everything like that. And I think it's really important to maintain and hold. And one of my personal goals with all of my social media reach is to reduce the barrier for someone to start a business and help them feel more confident starting that business and then building their confidence overall. So I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching.
I like to get it poppin', but these bitches in my business cut me out to choosing violence. If you see me out in public, you don't know me, keep it silent. In the bedroom, I be screaming, but outside I keep it quiet. You know, I'm the lowest of the lowest, but then you can keep it